1477 AD, 5371 AM. Christopher Columbus visited Galway, Ireland, and learned that a man and a woman had washed up on land inside a hollowed tree trunk boat. He believed that they were from India, but they were most likely Inuit, Eskimos or Amerindians, one ancient mysteries. 1478 AD, 5372 AM. Spain unites into a single nation under King Ferdinand of Aragon and Queen Isabel of Castile. This union is the foundation of Spanish dominance. They create the Holy Brotherhood, a military police force that enforces Catholicism and papal allegiance, a scheme backed by Pope Sixtus IV, who provided them with inquisitors to prosecute, torture, heretics, political and religious dissidents, thus establishing the Spanish Inquisition. On the other side of the Atlantic, the Aztecs finished a 22-ton monumental stone disc called the Stone of the Fifth Sun, sometimes wrongly called the Calendar Stone. Carved into extremely hard basalt, the 10-foot disc is covered in apocalyptic end-of-the-world imagery and symbols. This relic sculpture is an ancient American version of the apocalypse, the Revelation, describing floods, earthquakes, comets, which are clearly depicted, and one is reminded when looking at it of the Ragnarok prophecies of the Vikings concerning the last days, the doomsday traditions of the Hopi of North America, and the biblical prophecies. The four sun ages of antiquity are depicted, which are the subject matter of Chronicon 1, and when the sun darkens, terrible cataclysmic episodes that destroyed whole civilizations in 2239 BC, 1687 BC, 1135 BC, and 583 BC. The Mexican Noah is shown, called Coco, survivor of the flood. All four sun ages ended with the death of the sun darkening during phoenix transits, and the Aztecs believed in the fifth sun age when the sun fell out of the sky. The fifth sun begins the new age and is represented by the glyph form movement on the stone. This symbol, form movement, is a clearly defined pyramid with an eye symbol, and the movement is a reference to what will occur in 2046 AD to Earth when Nibiru passes too close, the planet being moved out of its place into a newer orbit, see 2046 AD. The year 2046 is the true end of the Mayan long count calendar that began in 3113 BC. The subject of Anunnaki Homeworld, published in 2011 AD, and intriguingly, archaeologists have noted that 5 of the animals depicted on the stone of the fifth sun were indigenous to the Mayan country. Just as the book of Revelation reads that Christ will descend from heaven with a sword protruding out of his mouth, the power of speech to make war, so too does the very centre of the disc, middle is the end, clearly show a god's face with a sword sticking out of its mouth. The Aztecs believed that the imagery placed upon the gigantic disc was a graphic depiction of the divine knowledge contained within the text of a golden tablet that was long ago brought to them by a wise stranger. The golden tablet mystery is closely associated with the Great Pyramid, see 498 BC. The stone of the fifth sun was carved here during the reign of the 6th emperor of the royal Aztec dynasty, named Ahiacatl. 1. The antediluvian world. 2. Hyperspace. 3. The mystery of the crystal skulls. 4. Beyond 2012. 5. The stone angle. 6. Fingerprints of the gods. 1479 AD, 5373 AM. The Aztecs secured their dominion over all their neighbours. They were the descendants of the Toltecs. Their empire would endure only 40 years, until the arrival of Hernán Cortés and the conquistadors of Spain. Muhammad II, the Grand Turk, invaded Naples in Italy and captured 22,000 Christians. 12,000 of these unfortunate people were bound and marched in front of the walls of the city of Otranto and tortured to death. A comet was seen over Arabia, described as a beam of sharp wood, or as like a spear with a sickle. 1. The stone angle. 2. March of the Titans. 3. Gods of Eden, Bramley. 4. Of Heaven and Earth, Antonio Junius. 1480 AD, 5374 AM. Ivan III, Grand Duke of Moscow, freed the Russians from Mongol control and allegiance, founding modern Russia. By this time, the Russians are a devout Christian people. The Caucasian element, which was the majority of the population, were descended from the Rus Vikings and Slavic elements living among the Rus. This was 2200 years, 44 jubilees, after the 10 tribes of Israel. The last remnants were deported in Assyria in 721 BC. 1482 AD, 5376 AM. The book Ptolemaios Cosmographia is published with a rough copy of a 2nd century AD map that depicts Greenland, Iceland, and both North and South America, showing both eastern and western coasts of the Americas. 1. Elder Gods in Antiquity. 1483 AD, 5377 AM. The Nuremberg Chronicle of Germany records the appearance of a comet. 1. Ancient Mysteries.